So let's dive into the XDJs. So obviously we've got it up on the screen here, and if you guys can't see, just follow sort of the screen. So I'm going to start off with the central console. So this was very much definitely what caught my eye when I first opened this out of the box after getting it sent from Japan, because you're practically looking at a 900 Nexus 2 mixer. So the 900 Nexus 2 is the flagship mixer and has been for a very long time in DJ booths all over the world. It's our highest end mixer. So this is sort of a hybrid between the 750 and the 900 Nexus 2, and the sound quality is of 900 Nexus 2. Nobody asked me what it is because I'll have to go on our website because I've now just forgotten the exact sound quality, but I know it's the same as the 900 Nexus 2. So the sound quality is of club standard. 4 channels here. So we've got 1 and 2 in the middle, 3 and 4 on the outside. Now there's definitely something I want to point out to you. This is a 4-channel standalone unit. You can't play 4 channels of audio via a certain aspect, so a USB, a laptop, etc. Right? So how I've been setting it up is I've had channels 1 and 2 here running off my USB, and then I've had 3 and 4 running off a laptop. So I want to make that very clear to you. You cannot run 4 channels of audio via 1 USB stick within this unit. Right. So in the central here, we've got the 3-band EQ, and we've got a nice trim at the top. Very, very similar to what you'll have seen on all of our products, CDJs, DJMs, even our controller ranges as well. And then we've got 4 channel faders here to control audio, crossfader, and then you can select your crossfader settings on the just below the faders here. So now, I mean, obviously that's the basics of a mixing section. So now I'm going to dive into why this is very much like the 900 Nexus 2 and 750 Mark II Club Standard. So you'll notice on the left we've got 6 sound colour effects, and we've got independent wet and dry filter pots in the middle, sound colour effects filter pots, and then you've also got a parameter here to harshen up that, whether you've got crush on, what else we've got, filters, noise, etc. Anything on there you can harshen it up. And then if we go to the beat effects, this is where it got really interesting for me when I first played on this, because we've got 14 hardware-based beat effects. So when I say hardware-based, those of you who don't know, what this means is it's not relying on a laptop or it's not relying on a digital signal. It's all embedded within the unit. I mean, let's face it, it wouldn't be a standalone unit if you had to rely on laptop effects and etc. So you've got 14 beat effects, all taken from the Nexus 2 mixer. The effect select here is a little bit different. We've sort of added a few features on here. So you've got your basic sort of 1, 2, 3 and 4 to select channels of where your effects is going to go, or your master. But then we've also added mic 1 and mic 2. Now I'll go into the microphone section in further on into the talk, because there's a really cool feature on there, which I wish we'd have actually plugged this into here, because there's a feature that will stop that feedback instantly, which I'll go into in a minute. But you can chain, or you can send, let's say for example, I mean the obvious one is a reverb, you can send that to your mic channels if you wish to, and you can send it to 1, 2 or both of them. So that's like quite a new feature that we've added there. And then you've got crossfader A and crossfader B, and what that means is when you turn your crossfader on, it will access the effect that you've selected as soon as you move your crossfader over. If you're using crossfaders, that is. Good, and then you've got your timing belt, and then obviously your level depth, your wet and your dry there. Now above it, we've got the effects frequency, 3-band cut-offs. Now, just to show of hands, who's never used this section here, the 3-band cut-off here? Okay, quite a few people, good, I'm glad. Now I'm quite heavy on effects and hot cues. I sort of dropped the old school way of mixing a long time ago, and I've moved with it, not that there's anything wrong with that, I moved with the times, and I like to live remix, if you will. Don't really press play at the beginning of a track. I tend to bring things in at weird positions and crazy stuff like that. Now how I achieve things like that, especially with the effects, is using these little 3-band EQ cut-offs here. And I'm going to show you exactly what I mean now. Sorry, give me 2 seconds. So what this allows you to do, let's pick a very obvious effect, so the echo. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to set off a 4-beat loop. Good. Now that's very basic, 4-bar loop. what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the echo on, just on the right channel, and you'll start hearing it come in. Now, we all know what that effect is, we've all heard that effect before, we've all used that effect before. Listen to what happens when I start messing with the frequency cutoffs. So all I've done there is I've cut off the low by one touch of a button on the frequencies here. And if I cut off the mid, all it's doing is affecting those hi-hats. Yeah? So we're understanding what's going on here. If I turn off that and open the mid, all it's doing is affecting the mid frequencies. And if we do it on the low, it's just affecting the bass. Yeah? Pretty straightforward stuff, but not a lot of people are using it, whether you've got access to it or whether you haven't. I mean, purchase one of these and you will have, obviously. But it's a really cool feature, and the reason why I like it so much is if I'm doing sort of techno sort of stuff or breaks or anything like that require a minute and a half long sort of build-ups with a shed load of reverb, panning, whatever. What I tend to do is I start messing with my frequencies towards the end of that build-up ready for my drop, because what happens is the producer will have made whatever reverb on there, he'll have made that, the last 4 bars, he'll have made it absolutely huge. What happens then, sometimes the effect can really drown out what's actually happening, and it just ends up being this one big mess. Now the old school way of doing it was turn your bass off when you've got an effect on, or cut off some frequencies, right? Well, we no longer have to use the pan pots anymore. Your 3-band EQs here, we can just use the frequency effects here. So there's a bit of information on frequency effects cut-offs. Start using it, guys, honestly, get used to it, it's amazing. I use it on every single effect that I can think of in the mix, if you will. So then if we move a little further up, again a show of hands, who's used an X-Pad before? 2 of you, wow. Good, good. So the X-Pad allows you to switch through parameters on a given effect by the touch of your finger. And this is where you can really get interesting with sort of build-ups or breakdowns. So I'm going to turn my low frequency off and I'm just going to get this echo back in. Now the parameter there is just on a half beat. Now what I could do is I could use my beat shifter and access different parameters of the effect. Or what you can do is put your finger on the X-Pad and just run your finger along the parameters. Yeah, pretty straightforward. Now in the middle of the X-Pad, there's also a high pass and low pass filter. This is something that a lot of people don't actually know. So in the middle of the X-Pad here, can you guys see what my finger is here? Is that all right? Is it quite clear? Yeah. So in the middle here is what's known as a high pass and low pass filter. Not a lot of people know it, and the best way to show this is if I turn my reverb on, and let's say I just give it 25%. Let's find a different part of the track. So we've got this breakdown here. And what I want to do is access reverb, but I want the reverb to be at a certain frequency. Putting my finger in the middle of the X-Pad, so I'll just get back to there. If I put my finger in the middle of the X-Pad, you're going to hear a high and low pass filter. That makes sense? Pretty straightforward stuff, very straightforward stuff. But again, not a lot of people know that these features exist on some of our units. So there's a little bit about the beat effects there for you. And then we've also obviously got the quantize, if you want to quantize your beats in time with your tracks, etc. Okay, cool. So moving further up, you've got a channel 3 and channel 4 input here. Now this is where you're going to select what channel 3 and 4 are doing. So let's say for example you're a duo DJs, or you're taking on, or you're going on after somebody, or I don't know, a lot of people I've spoke to about this are using laptops with this, but they've got a USB stick in and dedicated 2 channels for their backup to switch. Very like that, because if you're going to use a laptop, I think we can all agree, make sure you've got backup. For, I don't trust laptops, I never have done, so I've never used them, but we always have a USB stick running on 2 channels, and then your backup's there and ready for you. So channel 3 and 4, all you'd have to do is just switch them over there, and it'll pick up the USB laptop, or you switch them to line. Now obviously I'm in line because I've got a CDJ plugged in, or if you want vinyl to play through here, obviously you go through phono. Pretty straightforward stuff, but I like how we've added kill switches just here at your hand. You don't have to go around the back and start moving wires around and all that we used to do. And then we've got an auxiliary pot here, phono in the back, nice auxiliary there. Now, what this also has on the back, I'll go into sort of the outputs at the back later on, but it's got a send at the back, but no return, right? So, for those of you who know our production side, our side of things, we've got the DJs-1000, we've got it set up over there actually. You can actually sample, or you can send and return outboard effects or equipment via this, but you're going to return it through the auxiliary. So a lot of people, even me included, when I got this, I looked at the back thinking, right, we've got to send. What the hell am I sending? Or, where the hell is it? What's coming back? I don't really know what that's doing. Well, I found out that you actually return it back through auxiliary or return it back through a channel. So it has also got a send and return on here, which is great. So